Field Trips features real field stories told by real ASCE members.
Hello again, my name is Sebastian Lobo-Guerrero, and this is my field story or field trips number 2. So this actually it's a double pack because it's a little story about my dad and there is a little story about me. So I grew up in Colombia. My dad was a contractor. He used to do a lot of highway construction, landslide remediation, and things like that. So I grew up listening to the stories that he always tell, and I actually used to go to a lot of these field trips and a lot of field stories with him. But the first one didn't happen with me. It's something that he told me, and it always stay in my mind. He was doing a remediation of a rockslide, and to be able to take some of the mass out, they needed to put some dynamite and basically break the rock. So he went to the site, he parked his car, they went, installed all the explosives, and then they finally blasted, right? And he said that he parked a long distance from the thing. And you probably can see where I'm going. So when the rock fly, right, and the fragments start flying, a big rock did basically the most unlikely scenario. Like if you do a CRISP analysis, the Colorado Rockfall Simulation Program, is kind of like the impossible trajectory. So this rock went down and started bouncing and bouncing and bouncing and bouncing. And he started seeing his car and he's like, oh my God, it's going to hit, right? And the rock continue. And it finally hit and it basically totaled his car. And he lost his car based on that. So at that time, it was not funny. And I remember he was not very happy about it. But as everything, tragedy plus time equal comedy, and that's the way that I kind of got it and the way that I saw it and the way that I grew up with. So I was always extremely careful to park my car, far from landslides and rock slides and stuff like that when I started doing my professional practice here in the States. However, we sometimes forget what we learned, and even though the second story is not exactly parking, it's also just doing stupid stuff when we should have thought about it a lot more. So this is actually a landslide in the state of Ohio. A few years ago, I was called on a Friday at literally 3 p.m. And they told me, can you come here and take a look? I thought it was a small landslide. I was like, yeah, I can go and take a look before the end of the day. I ended up showing to the site. Long story short, it was a massive landslide. It was really, really of big proportions and dimensions. So I was fascinated, and I said, yeah, let me just do a walk, try to go to the top, see the scarp come down. At the top, you have a stream. The guy that I was with, seeing that it was like 4:35 p.m., he said, I'll wait for you here. And then I started walking, right? And it took me like 30 minutes. It was extremely muddy, a lot of water. It took me a while to go to the top of this slide. And then I started coming down, very treacherous conditions. Long story short, again, I end up basically going up and going on the other side of the slide to realize that I'm completely trapped because the slide is moving. It's almost like a mud flow. It's moving, it's slowly, but it's still moving. I'm confined by the river, like the stream that is in front of me, and there is no way out to cross to where the guy that took me is waiting for me. So I just remember thinking about the previous story that I told you about my dad, because I was like, how stupid I am that I'm not thinking what could happen on these things. So, now it's like 6 p.m. I'm in the south of Ohio, far away from home. There is no cell phone signal. There is nothing. Nobody knows that I'm there. Nobody in the office knows that I'm there because I just kind of drove from the office straight. My family doesn't even know. And I just remember thinking, this is one of the dumbest things that I have done in my life. And then I have to do what I always tell everyone that works with me to never do, which is cross a landslide on the top of the slide. It's the most frightening situation. I have mud until, up to my knees. I was able to successfully, cross that. And I think I probably lost my jeans and my boots and everything. I mean, the option of crossing the stream was not even an option because it was a deep stream, and, swimming that would have been even more dangerous. So bottom line of the story, as you can see, I have done a lot of stupid things, but it's probably learned from that, right? Always when you go to landslides, always just be aware of all the risks, right? And the same story as my dad, never park close by. If you're gonna go and walk a landslide, make sure that you have enough time. Make sure that it's not Friday at 5 p.m. and there is no cell phone reception. Make sure that you have your plan of action, your evacuation, and all that. So, fortunately, some mistakes that we do are not that expensive at the end. And as I said, tragedy plus time equal comedy. So it's a good story to tell, but just be very careful. Always think ahead of time and learn from my mistakes, because it's easier to learn that from your own mistakes. So I hope you like the story. Again, my name is Sebastian Lobo-Guerrero, and this is my field trip story. Have a great day.
Field Trips is a production of ASCE and the Geo-Institute.